Hearty hail and well met to you, dear KPI students. Today we're going to take a look at some basic moves on the C major scale and the G major scale. What I have here is a keyboard which serves, but it is best to have an actual grand piano, especially for you students who are going to be more serious about your KPI needs in the future. So let's take a look at the keyboard, finding middle C, which is here, and what we have is a scale, which means the 7 notes that are going to follow scale to this note, meaning this is the same for every scale, meaning if you start on this, the middle D, then the notes in that scale are going to scale to the D, and that means it's going to change what you depress following it. With C major, you have no sharps, no flats, and so that means it's going to be all white keys. Do look around on your keyboard, as there are spaces between certain white keys that are not black keys, such as between B and C and E and F. That means technically if you have a key with B sharp, that's going to be C. Similarly with C flat, that's going to be a B. And of course with E sharp, that's F, and with F flat, that's E. So hopefully I haven't confused you too much yet. We'll get into other keys later. Today we just want to do C major and G major. And those are the two basic ones you start out with on the circle of fifths. And we'll talk about the circle of fifths as well a little bit later. I don't want to go over too much all at once. So here's a good way to learn the C major scale in the left hand. So you want to put down all 5 fingers. By the way, while we're at it, let's talk about the numbers for the digits. So we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and in the right hand we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's basically the 2 hands are mirroring each other. And as far as what I've learned in school, the digits are used often in terms of how teachers are going to express what fingers are put down. That's kind of a good thing to learn going forward. So here's your C major scale, starting on C. So when you finish on that G on 1, what you're going to do is you're going to cross over with 3, the middle finger. And that may seem awkward at first, especially with that thumb still sitting there, if you can see it in the shadows there. That may feel awkward a little bit. Starting off, that's perfectly fine. You'll get used to it, as I did and many others. So you have that crossover, and then finish the scale, B, C. On your way down, it's the exact opposite. So, and then crossing over, again, very awkward, but try to do it anyway. Is that 1 down there, and then you're free to go to the rest of the scale. So here's a tiny bit quicker, just so you have an idea of what it should sound like. It'll become more natural as you keep on practicing. And here it is in the right hand. Now here, when you get to, here's where it's different. Here, when you get to 3 in the right hand, that's when you cross over on the F with 1. See that F down there? If we could do the crossover, and then do the rest of the scale. Back down. Crossover with 3. And there you go. Here it is again with the right hand. Alright. And if you want to challenge yourself, if you feel you're ready, go ahead and try to do it with both hands. And that's a pretty good way to judge that you are indeed good to go on a particular scale. And of course, it was just the C major scale. We'll talk about the minor scales a little later. For now, we just want to do C major, and then we'll go ahead and go to the G major next. Before that, I wanted to do a brief demonstration of triads. Triads are at the heart of music. So what happens is you have thirds stacked up on top of each other. Starting at the C, you go a third up to E, and then a third up again to G. And so you have 5 on the C, 3 on the E, and 1 on the G. That's the major triad. And oftentimes you'll have a teacher say, do your scale along with your triad, and then you'll know what to do. And she says it because it'll be just like this. Right, like that. Okay, and here it is from the right hand. Alright, that's C major. Going up to G major, which is the next key on the circle of fifths, it goes up a fifth. You can see that C is 1, and then up here's G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a perfect fifth, that interval. And so that means when you're starting on the G, you have a whole new scale that's has notes scaling to that note, which means you're not going to have all white keys this time, but that's okay because you're only adding 1 sharp. There'll be more complicated scales later. We'll talk about that as well. And so here we have G major. All you're doing with G major, besides starting on G, is you're adding F sharp. The order of the sharps are F, C, G, D, A, E, B. And you can think of it as a mnemonic device that I learned in school. It's Father Charles goes down and ends battle. And the order of the flats are the opposite: B, E, A, D, G, C, F. Or the mnemonic, battle ends and down goes Charles' father. A bit morbid, but it'll help you remember it. So right now we're only adding 1 sharp, which is that first one, which is that F. So the F that we would play here becomes F sharp. That's the 1 black key we play in G major. So let's do it. Remember the crossover with 3, F sharp, and then G again. Back down. Crossover with 1. Crossover with 1 on D. Okay. Here's G major with the right hand. Crossover with 1. F sharp. crossover 3. Okay, and here's the triad, major triad for G, which is G, B, D. Okay, 1, 3, 5. Later we'll talk about inversions that'll use, there's an option to use other fingers like the 2 and the 4 if you want, if it's more comfortable, but not necessary. So here's the scale with the triad. Okay, scale with the triad and left hand. Very pleasant sounding triad there. So that'll be it for now. We're already running up on time quite a bit here, but that was just a brief introduction to your two basic scales, C major and G major. More fun to come. That's all for now. Happy practicing.